Let me help next one again. I'm speaking. All right. My name is Brightest News, leader of Uganda, President of the Federal Democrats, and Commander-in-Chief of the Liberation Struggle to rescue our nation from the clutches of the abusive, corrupt, oppressive, dictatorial black apartheid regime of Yoweri Museveni and his NRM's extremist terrorist group in Uganda. Today we are not here because we have appointed to have parties with you, which would be the case in some instances. We have always come here to raise our grievances to the President of Uganda. Shame. We are here to reach our information to the government of the Republic of Uganda, to the President of Uganda, and to the entire world at large to know that enough is enough. In only a vicinity of 1 month, Yoweri Museveni has arrested and tortured more than 300 people, including journalists. There is no media freedom in Uganda, including closing radio stations and television stations, including giving illicit laws to the media houses because they are hosting opposition politicians. Yoweri Museveni, in a vicinity of only 1 week, he arrested 38 opposition politicians. That include Kano Kizza Besigye, Honorable Betty Namboze in Hoima and all FDC members, Chairman Nyanzi, and lastly, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Bobi Wine, a young man that Yoweri Museveni came to power when he's just in a kindergarten school. He finished primary school when Museveni is still president of the country. He finished high school when President Museveni is there still the president. He finished his bachelor's degree when Museveni is president of Uganda. He has been in music for over 20 years. Yoweri Museveni is still president of Uganda. He doesn't know that at this material time, for 34 years that he came when the young man is in kindergarten, is now an adult and is now standing together with the freedom fighters to force him out of power. We are here not only to tell Yoweri Museveni and his military juntas to stop injustice, impunity, corruption, looting of state economy, extrajudicial killings, state-oriented kidnapping of children and ask for ransom and kill them and thereof, state-oriented domestic terrorism commanded by Yoweri Museveni and his military generals. We are not here only to tell him to stop this. We are here to tell him that we have unfettered demand that he should leave power before things come worse. Because we're not going to tolerate however much militarization that he made himself. Because I want to quote Yoweri Museveni, in Africa, there is no country that can reach half of Egypt in military might. Hussein Mubarak built the army of Egypt that became #1 in Africa, and the second which is Algeria, the third which is Ethiopia, the fourth which is South Africa, and the fifth which is Nigeria, and the sixth which is South Africa. All these 5 cannot reach that country alone if you combine them. But even one bullet could not save him. Museveni is 13 in the continent. #1 in the continent, who even combines the 5 that follows him, did not use the army to save Hussein Mubarak in power in Egypt. And it's the same story that I want to send to Yoweri Museveni, that wasting money to put in militarization, it is a waste of time. And we gave him an ultimatum last year that he had to step down on the 15th of December 2018. I was here on August 3rd. He did not hear the hit. He bragged and said he's going to leave power after finishing all the problems of this continent, Africa. It was a shame of a rotten expert creature. A rotten expert creature in the mind. I've never seen any expert person than Yoweri Museveni. bragging like this means that Yoweri Museveni did not take the hit that we gave him a chance. 34 years in power does not mean that people of Uganda have been fools. We just gave him a chance to continue because we are preparing. I was young. Yoweri Museveni found me when I was in primary school, a young boy. I finished my primary school, he's still president of Uganda. I finished my high school, I finished my 2 bachelors, I finished my 9 masters, I finished my 2 PhDs. I'm looking on the same creature as president of Uganda. I'm saying we should not even think of the army. We are saying as FLD and the Save Uganda Patriots, People Power, FDC, we are together. We are going to push Yoweri Museveni out of power without elections. We are not going to go for any more elections.
And we are not going to go.
And I'm saying he lost a chance that we gave him.
How could you work for the devil
of our country?
We are not going to allow Muhoozi to become president of Uganda.
I respect
we are saying Yoweri Museveni must revise his mind properly. Otherwise, his days
Mr. Ambassador, we do respect
my
you.
name,
But the man you are working for is a devil.
Ambassador passport. It is Southern land.
How could you ask him to give
Some Ugandans they are in prison. The embassy cannot come out and save Ugandans. There are many children who are in prison.
From last year, Muzamela, I've been here over.
There are many Ugandans. There are many Ugandans. There are many Ugandans who are in prison. There are many Ugandans.
We are tired.
Ugandans.
We are tired. People power. That's our images. You are going to die. You are going to die. You